You're listening to Montreal Now with Aaron Rand and Natasha Hall on CJAD 800.
That would be James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. So, Jim, as predicted by you earlier in the week, I think, it looks like another axe has fallen on City Hall, or at City Hall this time. The woman who took over from Dominic Olivier, Isabelle Beaulieu, who I guess didn't impress the mayor with what she had to say today.
Well, I have to tell you guys, it's very rare that I witness a public inquiry, a public hearing that cannot help but remind me of like a fight scene in a James Bond movie, except instead of being on top of a moving train or an aircraft, here we have the past and former heads of the OCPM duking it out and trying to throw each other under a bus. Okay. And I throughout it all, and we have the recitation of the expenses and the ridiculous expenses, but you also have you have the incumbents, Madame Beaulieu, Isabelle Beaulieu comes. She begins her testimony and says, you know what, I came into this place, it was a mess. And I got the impression people were stealing time. They were billing or they're being paid for time that didn't work. And there's this whole kind of if you were a friend of Projet Montreal, you got a job here. The whole thing was kind of crazy. Did I make mistakes? Yes, I did. I'm sorry. And that's what I love. This is the 21st century of I guess sorry not sorry. It's like you get caught, like really caught, red bloody handed, and you say yes. I did wrong, and I understand it, and I take responsibility for that. Well, no, you haven't exactly taken responsibility for it. You got busted, so let's see what happens next. We saw what happens next this afternoon is that Valérie Plante has urged City Council to dismiss Ms. Beaulieu. Meanwhile, Dominic Olivier, who was the second act of this psychodrama, essentially says, you know what, I came in to this place. We did a good job, but I got, there were questions about what I did at the office. But listen, it wasn't me who went and dined at Chez Alexandre 77 times. And by the way, for those of you wondering why they went to Chez Alexandre, it's literally across the street from their office.
Right.
I'm not the one, she says, who paid $900 for a pair of wireless speakers, and so on and so forth. And through it all, you couldn't help but get the impression here were two people who probably have a lot of company, not just in the halls of the city administration, but also in the province at the federal level, who it never occurred to them they would be called on this. It never occurred to them that they would be called to account on this. And when they are, the finger pointing begins. But all that said, who's at the top? Who's responsible? Valérie Plante. So to a certain extent, she is, the ship, her political ship is caught in a very, very severe storm. And the first thing she has to do is toss things overboard if she wants to remain afloat. So the first thing is, Madame Beaulieu, you have got to go. The second thing is funding has been held up to the office pending, until further notice. As I said, I don't think that goes far enough. I think every paramunicipal, indeed every department, should be subject to a very, very hard-bitten audit, and may well be, because the fact of the matter is, we're looking at this as a story in time, but the clock is still ticking. Valérie Plante has 2 more years as mayor, and this cloud is not going to go away anytime soon. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a lot of fun seeing if we have an administration that is renowned for making drunken sailors blush the way it spends money, suddenly turning around, having a come to Jesus moment and saying, austerity, this will never happen again. It's going to be fun to watch.
Okay, I want to just clarify. She can't or doesn't have the authority, Valérie Plante, to actually fire her, right?
Nope.
She has to recommend to council to do it. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing is, you basically are working for the city, and council has to vote. And I'm not sure if they need 2/3, but I'd be surprised if they didn't get unanimous based on these headlines. But that's the way it works.
Who has the authority to get rid of the OCPM? Because that's what I'd like to see happen here.
That's a very good question. I'm not entirely sure you can. But all that said, are you saying that you should dismiss the entire process of public consultations? Because you need somebody to oversee it. I realize it would be sort of short-term satisfaction, to burn the place down and salt the ashes. But all that said, good God, this is Montreal. We have public consultations if we want to, change the color of a wall at some municipal office. But all that said as well, it's been made clear that this administration, the Plante administration, it would be tough to rival them for the contempt they have displayed for the office, especially when it came to Committee Hood.
Yeah, well, this is the whole idea, right? Like they consult and then they say, oh, no, we're going to do it anyway.
But if we got rid of them, to Natasha's point, I think a lot of people, knowing what we know now, would probably say the same thing. But you're right. We still need to have, projects there needs to be a consultation process. What did we do before this, Jim?
Oh, we didn't have in the days of Drapo, we didn't have consultation.
It was like my way or the highway was the consultation. It was I like to do it, so we're going to do it.
It's still like that now. It's still like that now. Only they're traveling around the world and dining out on our dime, and then saying,
"Yeah."
But
the thing is, you need to have, you have to have this facade of consultation, this facade of democracy, this facade. Oh, yes, we're listening to you, and all of this is coming home to roost, quite obviously. Okay, but I think that somewhere between the existing version of the Office de Consultation and, say, the very unscientific polls that we do on Montreal Now, there is a happy medium somewhere there that we can consult the public, get some idea of what's going on, and more importantly, act upon it.
Just we do it online, weigh in online, have a committee set up there. They can just not the same people who did the SAAQ online thing, but otherwise we can just do it.
Oh, come on. What's $40 million?
Yeah. What's $40 million? That's like 5 hockey teams. Hey, listen, last thing. I want you to hear this clip. So we know Justin Trudeau is out in San Francisco right at this big summit. He got asked this question, Jim. I thought you'd enjoy this today, right? Listen to it. Brian?
Would you describe Xi Jinping as a dictator?
Look, China's a one-party state. I don't think anyone would call it a democracy.
Okay, I love the time spent between, the thinking and the answer. And obviously that was asked because Joe Biden came out and basically had done that already. What'd you think?
Yeah, he didn't mince words. He called him a dictator.
Yeah, what did you think about what Trudeau said?
Well, what he didn't say, I find it very intriguing given that we are on the eve of what's supposed to be a public inquiry into, allegations of interference by the Chinese government in political affairs and elections here in Canada. I'm not sure if he thinks, he's going to worsen his relationship with China right now. I would say it's somewhere between, in the seventh circle of hell and clinically dead. I don't think there's anything he could say that would worsen relations with China right now. Although that said, lest we forget, we talk about the headline world, but there's the real world. There's still gazillions of Canadian dollars invested in China. There's still gazillions of Canadian dollars trading with China. Yeah. So perhaps that came into play when Prime Minister Trudeau didn't answer that question. Joe Biden could care less. I mean, Joe Biden's at the point where now he's just calling them as he sees them. So I mean, I'm not trying to defend Trudeau here. I'm just trying to explain perhaps what might have explained the reticence. But when you also consider he hardly spoke to the Chinese delegation when he was there, it seemed a bit odd. Everyone kind of noticed that.
Kind of got a little, oh, look, it's him, and they moved away and went somewhere else. James Mennie over at the Montreal Gazette. Jim, have a great weekend. Thank you.
You too, guys.